So dealing with isolation. Methods. Okay, so first of all I would say don't even bother with this lifestyle if you're a social creature, go join a commune. This lifestyle is not for somebody that's very social. You need to enjoy your space. You need to be able to enjoy your own company, and you need to be at peace with yourself, really, because otherwise what happens is, and then it happened to me in the beginning, what happens is you chew your own head up. I was so doubtful when I first come out, and I still live in fear a lot. I go through patches, really, of it. But what I would say to you is, if you're on your own out here and you haven't got a way of managing that, and you're a bit of a social creature, you're going to find this lifestyle incredibly difficult. I would suggest actually that if the more social you are, the more appropriate it is probably for you to find some commune that are doing this and join that. However, if you're like me, and that to you is like one of your worst nightmares, I can't bear the idea of living like that. To me, it's just a whole other political front. You always get people that are taking stances. There's somebody, I can't be bothered with all that bullshit. Oh, sorry, my nose has just started running. Hang on a minute. I can't be bothered with all that political bullshit. It's the whole reason I'm not in the system in the first place. So, I think it's just replacing one system with another. Sorry about me rubbing my nose off, but it is what it is. I'm a wild woman. Why am I making excuses? So anyway, what I would say is one of my coping mechanisms is journal. I keep a journal. So no matter, anything actually, and do anything that's going on, a new discovery, something that I've seen, something that I've learned. Anything really, just even sometimes just chewing over thoughts, and sometimes when you're on your own, your mind will really surprise you. Like I've often ended up in a fit of giggles just from a thought. I'm out here on my own and I'm laughing out loud, tears streaming down my face, and all because I've had a funny thought. At one point, okay, so I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So at one point, I was sat on my little sun log over there in my art gallery, and because the path is just behind me over there, I was thinking, I really want to go on that path and be able to identify exactly where I am in this camp. Although it's not very helpful, really, if other people can spot me, it's helpful if I can see me, because then I can work out how to hide me better. Anyway, so I was sat on that log there, and I was looking around in front of me to see what was available as like a focal point, as a landmark, that when I go out on the path just out there, I'll be able to look in and spot these landmarks, and then be able to work out exactly where my camp is, which is just here. Right, so somewhere there. So that was the plan, right? Anyway, so as I'm sitting there thinking that, I looked up and I saw one really big oak tree in front of me. In fact, let me sit there and show you. This is the thought that sent me in tears of laughter one day, one of them anyway. So I'm sat here on the log, and I've spotted, see that really big tree and that holly bush there? Oh, can you see it? Not that one, that one. So that tree, actually, at the top, I'm not very good with the camera. Anyway, it's a very, very big oak tree, right? And then, just literally across the way, not far from my chair, actually. See if I can get the point right. Hang on. That one is another huge oak tree, right? So anyway, I'm sat here, I'm thinking, right, so that's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to go out on the path and I'm going to look for two huge oak trees that are relatively close together. At that point, I became hysterical with laughter. Hysterical. And let me explain to you why. Because, of course, if I go out on that path, I mean, I'm not joking, this woodland is covered, and I mean covered, in bloody oak trees. So can you imagine, I'm going to go out on the path, right? I'm going to look in, and I'm going to be looking for two large oak trees relatively close together, when, I'm not kidding you, every second bloody tree is a fucking oak tree. So, it's like, you know, it seems like a simple thought, but it's mad, you know. The more time you spend on your own, the more you appreciate your own entertainment, I suppose. And that really tickled me. I mean, it tickled me pink all day. And even later on, when I went out on the path, it got me giggling again, because as I'm walking along, I'm thinking, oh, the bloody two oak tree things. And I did look, just out of curiosity, and don't be daft. I mean, the whole patch, I literally, if I walked around this woodland and pointed out how many oak trees there are, I think it'd get you laughing as well. You know, that's just, as far as landmarks and a plan was concerned, that was the worst one I've ever come up with. And I'm pretty sure it was because it was first thing in the morning and I hadn't had my coffee yet. So anyway, yeah, little things like that, you know. Your own mind can tickle you sometimes, but there are ways of coping with your own loneliness and your isolation. For example, I keep a journal. Sorry, I'm not in the right direction for the light. Hang on a minute. So I keep a journal. I also, as much as I hate and I detest the BBC, I do listen to them for their weather reports, because they do decent weather reports, and I can find out what the weather's going to be like the next day if I need to prepare for it or whatever. Then I've got a bit of notice. And also, Radio 4 isn't full of just music, because I've got plenty of music that I can listen to on my phone. In fact, you know, my music is much better than what the radio plays. They're just commercial bullshit, aren't they? But sometimes you'll get like the comedy hour at 6:30, which I often will tune into, you know, if I've got enough battery. Or sometimes they just have some interesting chats, like we had David Attenborough on Radio 4 the other night. It's quite interesting. You know, I love a bit of David Attenborough, and he was talking about climate change and whatnot. And to be honest, I don't know what I believe around the whole climate change thing. In fact, there's a lot of things I used to have an opinion about that I really couldn't, you know, I don't involve myself with anymore, really. You know, I know that we should be fighting for this and fighting for that, but to be honest, for me, I think I'm tired of fighting. You know, I did do some fighting back in the day, and I'm 41 years old now. I'm just tired of fighting, and we're not winning the bloody battle, are we? Let's face it. You know, they just keep getting harsher and harsher on us. And I mean, even now, apparently, they're trying to pass through law now that trespassing. They're trying to make trespassing a law. Another one of their rules that we're going to break. I mean, their laws are just bullshit, aren't they? You know. But yeah. I digress. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. And I'll get to the stealth fire at some point. I've just got to wait for the sun to go down. It gets darker later now, so I eat later. You know, I'm not prepared to get rumbled just because I'm hungry. I'll rather wait. I will eat eventually, even if it's really late. I think the other night I had a baked potato. It was about 9:30 at night, maybe 9:30 at night. I had a baked potato and a squirrel. It was alright, actually. You know, I enjoyed it, but it was very late at night, and I think I'd already gone past the point of hunger at that point, so it was a little bit hard getting myself into it. I tried to stick to 1 or 2 meals a day at the most, 2. I won't ever have 3 meals a day. I don't even know why people do eat 3 meals a day. I never feel hungry enough to eat 3 meals a day, to be fair. So, yeah. It is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, I'll get to the fire later. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with sticks.